What's up, everybody? Welcome down to the Matt Cave. You found your way to Matt Cave Gaming and our weekly live stream. I wasn't sure if we were going to be doing anything tonight, but I'm changing things up. It's going to be a little different this week, and we're gonna be here on this screen tonight for a little while, and we're just gonna chat. We're not going to be firing up a game tonight. It's going to be a little bit different. I was thinking about this kind of during the week of like if I do stream this week with everything kind of going crazy with work, what would I talk about with everybody? And well, you know what? It's that spooky time of year. It's October, and I started thinking about my favorite scary games and my favorite scary movies. And sometimes some of them combined, some of them are part of the same thing. So I thought, you know what? That could be pretty fun. Let's all hang out for a little while. We're getting close to Halloween. Let's talk about the spooky stuff. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to be like, well, okay, Matt Cave, you're going to be talking about Resident Evil all night. I promise we're not going to stick to Resident Evil all night, but it's definitely part of the list, and for good reason. But there's plenty others out there, and I want to hear about your favorites as well. I want to talk about it here in chat and everything and see, what kind of stuff are you guys watching and playing during this time of the year? What kind of gets the nerves going, what movies and stuff still get you with those jump scares, or what puts you like kind of like not so much at ease. It can get pretty creepy, some of this stuff. Even some of the movies we've seen like a million times, or the games we've played a million times, there's still those moments that just get you. So I don't know, I thought it would be kind of fun for a little while. That's not gonna be too crazy long of a stream, but just wanted to hang out with you guys for a little while. I know for me it feels like it's forever. I know we streamed last week. I know that. But going through this week, it's been weird for me. I've been having very early morning starts, and I'm very, very tired, and my whole like sleep pattern and schedule is all thrown off, and I'm just kind of like, whoa, I feel like a zombie. So speaking of Resident Evil, yeah, I'm feeling like a zombie. So it's but I missed you guys, and I didn't want to do nothing this week, so we're gonna hang out for a little while. What's up, Cage? Good to see you, Steve. What's going on, dude? Jeff says different. Change is bad. I don't like it. Oh my god. I know change is crazy. This week has been it's been rough. Today was the last day of the thing I was doing for work, and overall it was a good thing, but it just completely threw me off, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm just like, I really do feel like a zombie. Steve's like, Resident Evil stream, yay! I'm working on, it's with Resident Evil, well, with anything, I don't generally write a script for videos. Like I'll jot down notes, like bullet points of the things I want to cover in the video, but I'm working on not so much a script, but a way more in-depth guide for a video that I'm working on, and right now it's in the, like, let's call it pre-production, because I'm writing it, and it's going to be about Resident Evil. Well, two things I'm writing. One of them, it's about focused on the franchise of Resident Evil, and there's so many videos out there that you can watch that are like the breakdown of the history of the franchise and how they were made and when they were released and all this stuff. But I'm making a history of Resident Evil video, but from my point of view as a fan, as a player, and what my experience was personally with each release of those games. So I'm writing an outline for that, because I want to keep things kind of moving properly and keep things in the proper order and all that. And so I'm looking forward to actually sitting down to film it. The other one I'm working on is, well, I don't know if I want to. I'm gonna hold on to that one. There's another one I'm working on, and it's gonna be very different for me. But I'm leaving my comfort zone with it, and but I want to get some more like pre-recorded video content out there for everybody. So a couple things coming down the pipeline. KH already starting it off right now with some horror stuff. Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, three of the ultimate big ones. So yeah, tonight I want to talk about our favorites and why we like them, our favorite scary movies, our favorite scary games that we certainly like to jump into during this time of the year. It's October of 2025 at the time of this video, and we're halfway through the month right now, just over the halfway point, working our way towards Halloween. And I've been going through some like horror movie stuff and some scary games. My son decided that he wanted to get all into horror movies. Well, I was testing the waters with him, and we're working our way through. Tonight, we actually watched the movie Brightburn. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. It was produced by James Gunn. I think it came out in 2018, but Brightburn was supposed to be the start of a horror franchise with a superhero twist. And Brightburn was, what if Superman was basically a slasher villain? And it would have been a really cool franchise if they would have continued it, because at the end of the movie they tease other characters, like other horror versions of like Aquaman and the Flash and Wonder Woman. It would have been a whole horror DC universe, and I think it could have been pretty amazing. But we watched Brightburn tonight, and he was just like, wow, that was insane. And that movie gets intense, and it's pretty gory too. But that is a good one. But I've been trying to show him some classics as well. We watched the original Friday the 13th not that long ago, and he enjoyed that one too. That's one of my go-tos, the original Friday the 13th. I know there's a lot of people that generally go with like 3 forward, because 3 is when Jason gets his mask, the iconic mask. But it's I don't know, that first movie, that original Friday the 13th, I always find myself going back to that one. I think it is my favorite of the entire franchise. And don't get me wrong, I really love the sequels with Jason doing all his iconic stuff. There's just something about that original. I just absolutely love it. It's so much fun. That one is it's great. And there's, when you know the whole franchise, that first one, I guess you could say, kind of has the twist in all of it. And if you don't know what it is, go check out Friday the 13th. It's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Let me keep saying hi to everybody here. So Jeff, I saw Steve, I saw KH. Alan, what's up, dude? Rain is here. Says, I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Lego Batman. Nice. I love it. KH says, my work is moving booths around to make for Christmas decorations, already all while building multiple new stores on the second floor. Oh man, that's a lot of work, setting up stores and stuff, especially around like holiday times and readjusting places. That's a lot of work. I used to work, I'll tell you, my first job on the books, my first official job on the books, I worked for a Kmart, and I worked in the seasonal department, which I actually really enjoyed because everything was always changing. There was always something to do. So I feel like it was the best department to work in. But, Christmas time, there'd be all the Christmas stuff and everything. And then Halloween, you get all spooky stuff and everything. But then throughout the year, like springtime and stuff, you got all this like patio furniture and all these things. But there was always something to do. But I did enjoy that work. It was a lot of fun. Lego Indiana Jones in the house. What's up? Good to see you. Original Nightmare on Elm Street. I showed that one to my son also. That's another one of my all-time favorites. The start of Freddy Krueger, one of the most iconic villains and characters in horror movie history. Between him and Jason, I mean, eventually we got Freddy versus Jason, which, say what you will about that movie, I really like that movie. It's a lot of fun, and I'm one of those fans that waited all those years for that to finally happen after it was teased at the end of Jason Goes to Hell. So I was excited no matter what when that came out. But those iconic characters, those, like, when you think of the slasher films, right, which is usually what a lot of people are their main go-to this time of year, and you think about horror movies, some of the first things you think about are Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, now Scream. Ghostface is a big one, making a big comeback right now. I know they put like it's Fort Nightmares right now in Fortnite, and they put Ghostface in there from Scream. So I know a lot of the younger generation is getting introduced to the Scream franchise for the first time, and they're all obsessed with Ghostface at this point. So so he's become one of those iconic entries in the world of slasher movies. But these characters, they went beyond just those films. And I think that's one of the things that makes them so iconic and so great, and why they're just going to last forever. We got comic books, we got books and novels with these characters, we got TV show spin offs, and we got video games. Going all the way back to the Atari 2600, there was a Halloween game. And in it, I'm trying to remember if you played as Michael Myers. I'm trying to remember if you played as Michael Myers and you were going after the babysitter, or if you were the babysitter running away from Michael Myers. I feel like you played as Michael Myers. It's been ages since I played that game. But that's the earliest one I can think of when there was horror video games. I think there was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game as well at that time, but the one that definitely stood out to me as far as the video games of horror movies was Friday the 13th on the NES. Still one of my all-time favorite Nintendo games, and I know it has such a bad reputation, but I always go back to that game. It's a lot of fun. It can be frustrating, but when you know the things that the game's looking for you to do, it can be a lot of fun. It can definitely be a ton of fun. Brightburn, that was pretty good. Definitely had some scenes that stick with you. Oh my god, the car wreck scene, his uncle. Oh my god, it's that movie's brutal. If you've never seen Brightburn, which we were talking about earlier, it's the what if horror movie of Superman, and it's what if Clark wasn't found by the Kents? What if his family didn't quite know what to do with him, but he has a very dark background with his alien race, and he's like 12 years old in the movie, and you remember the scene there's a lot of throwbacks to the Superman stuff in Brightburn, from multiple versions of Superman, and one of the scenes that they have like kind of an homage to and sort of mimic is, you remember in the original Christopher Reeve film, when he's not Superman yet, he's on the farm, and the crystal starts calling to him from the barn. Well, there's a scene in Brightburn where the equivalent of the ship and the crystal from the Superman story starts calling to the kid. His name is Brandon, in Brightburn, and it starts calling to him, and you start to see the dark twist on all of this. And this is one of those movies where it starts pretty tame, and then it's like they flip a switch, and then it is just go time, and things get really gory and intense. So if you're watching Brightburn for the first time, go into it knowing that the handful of brutal moments, they are very brutal. So just go into it knowing that it gets pretty intense. Yeah, we were talking about the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger will always be an iconic character. I just picked up the OG Friday the 13th on 4K. Plan on watching it very soon. It's my personal favorite of the series. That's awesome. I don't have the 4K set of Friday the 13th, but I have a nice Blu-ray set of it, which the movies were cleaned up really, really nice. I got to look into the 4K edition of that. Jeff, let me ask you, what did you think of the, what was it, 2009, the Friday the 13th remake? I saw that in theaters. Let me know what you thought about that. Anybody else too, whatever you thought about if you saw it. The Friday the 13th remake from, I think, 2009. Steve, what's up, dude? Honorable mention, Silent Hill F. That game has been absolutely wild watching Scotty play through it. Yes, everybody. If you haven't been watching, please go check out the replays. Scotty Hawk has been playing through Silent Hill F. I missed out on the last couple of live streams because of work stuff going on. But I was really enjoying his playthrough of that game. Excuse me. I think he beat it. or maybe he might have one more stream to go to beat it. He's really close from what I heard, but I got to watch the replays. I got to catch up. And that game is, man, that game's terrifying. The Silent Hill franchise, it's like, they're scary, but it's like that really creepy, like really get to your nerves type of horror. So a lot of it's psychological horror. There's plenty of jump scares in it, and a lot of it gets really disturbing. Silent Hill is just one of those outstanding franchises. I watched a movie called The Depravity because it had my celebrity crush in it. It was good, but it wasn't my cup of tea. Was it a horror movie? I haven't heard of that one. Is that something like that was like only on Netflix or something like that? I gotta look it up. That's I'm always down to check out some horror movies and stuff, or thrillers that I've never seen before. I mean, I grew up watching horrors and thrillers, and I started them way too young. Definitely way too young, but in the 80s, it was a different time. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That has a video game now. I haven't played it yet. I want to try it. Actually, Scotty and I think were talking about that not that long ago of trying to play that game. It's one of those, a group where it's like one person's the bad guy and then the group is trying to escape them, I guess. So I guess one person plays as one of the killer clowns, and then you go after the rest of the group. Kind of how that not the NES game, but the newer Friday the 13th game played, where one person played as Jason and the rest were the camp counselors. I think it's that same style that plays in. But Killer Clowns from Outer Space, those things were creepy. They were really creepy. Those masks and prosthetics and everything that everybody was wearing. Oh my god, those suits were insane. I'll tell you, man. The practical effects from the 80s especially. Like, oh my god. Like, think about the movie The Thing. That's one of the most terrifying sci-fi horror movies ever, in my opinion. And the gore effects are just unbelievable. I mean, it's just, I'll tell you, man, the 80s had 80s movie special effects is just one of my favorite times ever in the world of all kinds of films, whether it's sci-fi or horror or action. It's just awesome. There's just something that it just sticks out in the best way. Sleepy Hollow, that's another good one too. And we had that like Tim Burton spin on it, and then Johnny Depp, of course, being in there. That's, oh man, I haven't watched Sleepy Hollow in a long time. Actually, do I? I don't think I own a copy of that. Yeah, I don't think I have that. I'm gonna have to. I gotta add that to my collection. Sleepy Hollow's a good one. I like that. I want to watch Brightburn again. Haven't seen it since it came out. Good time to watch it. Yeah, it's definitely a good time to check it out. I just rewatched it just tonight, this evening with my son, and it was fun rewatching it. That movie. I wish it continued. I wish that franchise. I wish that would have become a franchise. It had a lot of potential, lots of potential. Sleepy Hollow from '99. Love that movie. Saw it in theaters opening week. Yeah, man, definitely a good one. What's up, Palpatine? Good to see you, dude. Welcome. Let me scroll through the chat here and catch back up with you guys here. Black Dragon, what's up, dude? Says, I must be weird. I don't see a whole lot of difference between 1440 and 4K. Yeah, you know what? There's not a ton of difference. You know what I've found? That 4K versus 2K, so 1440 being like 2K, there's a sharpness level, I guess you could call it, on edging, that at the 4K level it's crisper, but depending on what it is, it can almost be too much. Like, I've noticed, like right now, I have my camera going in 1440, and when I kick it to full 4K, the sharpness level in my hair gets so exaggerated, it looks really weird. So actually, I kind of prefer the softer image that the 1440 brings. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. But when it comes to like films and stuff and movies, it all depends on the transfer and how they've upscaled it and whether or not they've used a bunch of AI to upscale it. Some of the AI upscaling really hurts some movies. Not always. There is some good, but it gets a little weird when they upscale them. Talking about back to the Friday the 13th movie, the 2009 remake I only saw once, but thought it was fairly good. Didn't hold a candle to the OG for me, but I liked the direction they took with it, just different enough. Yeah, I did enjoy the remake of Friday the 13th. I hoped it would have continued, but, we know it didn't. The interesting thing about that movie, because obviously they put Jason in it, right? So it's just called Friday the 13th, and it's considered a remake. But what they did was they took elements of like the first four Friday the 13th movies and just kind of mashed it all together to make one story, which was an interesting way to do it. But it was a quick way of getting Jason into it, like the Jason that we know. So I like that movie. I got to rewatch it. I will rewatch it fairly soon. We're kind of going through the franchise again, so I'll get up to that like at the end. Vanishing Gollum, what's up? Good to see you. Cujo. Okay. I feel like Cujo is one of those movies that hardly ever gets talked about now. But back in the day, that would get brought up all the time. Cujo, I really thought Cujo would have become like a big franchise, and it never did. And the whole idea was very, very terrifying, being that, it's about this dog. And like, it was, I mean, very exaggerated at plenty of moments in that movie, but it was like that this could happen kind of feeling. Like, it's just, man, but movies like that, yeah, we don't have too many things like that left. Oh, you were talking about Depravity. It went straight to digital. Okay, so it was one of those ones. I could probably still find it somewhere and figure out where I can check that out. Scotty, what's up, dude? We were just talking about you a couple minutes ago. I was telling everybody how you're playing Silent Hill F. Did you beat it? I don't think you beat it yet, right? You were saying you have like one more stream to go with that. I got to catch up on your replays. I haven't caught up yet, so I'm trying not to spoil it for myself, because I'm like, that's my first experience with that game, is watching your playthrough of it, and it's awesome. It's crazy. Would the original Terminator or RoboCop be considered horror? Okay. I'm really glad actually you brought this up, because there are some films sometimes that are almost on that border, that right on that line, right? RoboCop, I wouldn't put in that realm, but the first Terminator, I would say, is borderline in the horror genre. It is basically a slasher film. It follows that formula a bit. It's we have our main killer, the Terminator, and he's going after his targets, and there's people that get in his way, and they get off, they're unalive throughout, and it sort of follows that formula a bit, and it's pretty terrifying at moments. I mean, when you think about that movie as just a standalone movie, don't consider the sequels, especially Terminator 2, which is still to this day one of the greatest action films and greatest sequels of all time. It's going to be incredibly hard to beat. But don't think about the sequels, the rest of the franchise. Just that one original film by itself. It's borderline. There's lots of scary moments in that movie. It's which is one of the things that makes it outstanding. Hey, I may get a little heat for this, but I like Terminator 1 more than Terminator 2. And it's because of that fear level. It's that intensity. It's that nervousness with it. It's that feeling of like the character being stalked like that. It's like it's sort of happening in T2 with the T1000, but it's on a different level. But that first movie, I love it, guys. I absolutely love it. And don't get me wrong, T2 will always be one of my all-time favorite movies ever. But I prefer the first one. And speaking of that, I know it's a little off topic for what we're talking about with scary movies and stuff, but in the realm of Terminator, I just want to mention this because I just showed it to my son the other night and he really loved it. And I love this one too. Terminator Genisys, in my opinion, is highly underrated. It's nowhere near as good as the original two. Nothing will be. But Terminator Genisys, the way the timeline changes and you basically get like, they go back to the 80s. And it's like Terminator 1 mixed with Terminator 2, but the timeline is all messed up. It's a lot of fun. Terminator Genisys. If you've never seen it, give it a chance. Yes, the cast is different, and there's a different actress playing Sarah Connor. It's having a brain fart. From not House of the Dragon, from Game of Thrones, Khaleesi. She plays Sarah Connor in it, and there's a different actor that plays Kyle Reese. But it's this incredible what if like scenario of Terminator 1 basically mixed with Terminator 2. It's a lot of fun. But we watched that the other night and had a blast watching that, so that was cool. Let me see. Let me keep catching up with you guys. So good to see you guys here tonight. I appreciate you guys coming by. I know this is different than what we do, way more low key than what we're doing. We will be back to the gaming on the next stream. But it's this week has just been you can see I'm already like I don't know, my eyes are like half shut. I can see it on the camera. I'm very tired. Work has been something this week. Let me scroll back up. My chat just jumped to the man, you guys are going in chat. This is awesome. Where did I leave off? Here we go. Silent Hill F is one of those games I keep thinking about. I started a second playthrough, but set it to the side to play Ghost of Yotai. However, tis the season for Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Gotta get back. Heck yeah, man. Dr. Angel DPT, she's playing Ghost of Yotai. I haven't watched her streams of it yet. I got to catch up on hers as well. But I've heard good things about that game. But yes, it is definitely the season of Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Yes, Kurt Russell in The Thing is peak. The Thing is, we touched on it just a little bit ago. The Thing is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, sci-fi horror movies. But the special effects alone are phenomenal. It's just so well done. The acting in that movie is great. The setting is great. It's terrifying every time I watch that movie. And I have seen The Thing a million times. And every time I watch that movie, there's still that level of fear. It's there. Speaking of underrated movies, did you ever see the prequel to The Thing? Now, the prequel that came out years and years later, obviously not as good as the original. There's no way they're going to beat it. And there's moments of that prequel that are pretty weak. Some of the acting is like, whatever. But overall, the way they connected it, it's like all the questions we had about that other site and what happened, where the Thing was before it got to Kurt Russell's camp, you get all of those answers. Everything is there. So if anything, it's not, don't go into it looking for it to be as good as The Thing. It's not. But it is a lot of fun to watch that prequel and then jump right back into John Carpenter's The Thing. You go right from one to the other. It's a really good watch. I highly recommend it. Definitely check that out. Scary movie talk, and you didn't tell me it would. It kind of came out of nowhere, dude. I was debating on whether I just go right to bed or do something tonight. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna push a little bit and go for it. So, but you can see, holy moly, it's hitting me already, guys. And we haven't been going that long, but I wanted to do something. But yeah, man, yeah, kind of out of nowhere. I was like, if I don't just hit go live, I'm not gonna. So I just went for it. Scotty says my favorite scary movie in the last decade is Talk to Me. I did not see that yet. Went to the theater and was created by two Australian YouTubers. Really? Oh my god, was it really? Is that the which one was that? Is that the one with the what did they have? They had a hand or something, or I'm trying to remember what that was. Um I know the title. I'm just trying to think if I'm thinking of the right one. E.T. You know what? You know what, Alan? There's a lot of people, a surprising amount of people, that are terrified of E.T. I'm not one of them. I love E.T. I absolutely adore E.T. But there are people who are legit terrified of him. And you know what? I get it. I get it. I mean, yeah, he's pretty creepy sometimes. But yeah, that one is it's pretty crazy. The Ninja Irate, what's going on? I'll let you borrow my 1 megapixel 9-pin serial webcam to upgrade your stream. Let's go. Good to see you here, man. Good to see you. We had played for 4 days, about an hour left for the last finale stream coming up. Yeah, that's yeah, okay, you're like coming up on the end of that. I'm gonna catch up, dude. I'm gonna catch up and watch the rest of that story of Silent Hill F. It is it's amazing. About the only horror movies that I watched are the ones with remakes just to see the differences. Oh, see, that's fun in itself too. Especially with the same goes for video games. Like I, grew up with so many games and I love to play their remakes and remasters and stuff. Finding those differences is always a blast. So many horror movies have been remade over the years. Lots of horror movies that originally came out in the 50s and the 60s got remakes in the 80s and the 90s. And there's, what's one of my all-time favorites? Was it called Them? I think it was just called Them, with the giant ants invading the city. That was one of my favorites. I used to watch all the older black and white horror movies and stuff with my father. I used to love watching that stuff. And then in the same vein of Them, years and years later, I don't remember if this was the 90s or the early 2000s, but we got Eight-Legged Freaks with the spiders and everything. That was basically an homage to movies like that with the giant creatures attacking the city. So definitely good stuff there. What are we asking? If Cujo bad, why shaped like friend? Oh, if Cujo bad, why shaped like friend? Yeah, Cujo's terrifying because it's man's best friend. Actually, there was another horror movie called Man's Best Friend, which was basically a ripoff of Cujo. I remember seeing that. Oh my god, you know what? Speaking of saying friend like that, that reminding me of uh Deadly Friend with Christy Swanson. That is another one of those 80s horror movies that was one of my, it might have been very early 90s potentially, but Christy Swanson was in it. It's called Deadly Friend. And this movie was, oh my god, I watched it so much. I remember it used to play on Pix 11 all the time. It was like the 5 o'clock movie, and then edited on TV and stuff. But she would walk around like this, and she would say BB BB because she had, the premise is she dies and they put the processor, the CPU of a robot into her head, and the robot goes on a killing spree, but in her body. And it's man, it was such a, the lady from Goonies, the villain, she's in it, and she's like plays an angry neighbor or something like that. But Deadly Friend, Christy Swanson. I gotta see if there's a Blu-ray of that. I gotta add that to my collection. I used to watch that movie all the time. Yeah, Spidey, we're talking scary movies and scary games. What are our favorites, especially this time of year? You only got 1 hour left, so okay, yeah, I will catch up, dude. I will definitely catch up. The Shining, yes, The Shining, incredibly creepy. I remember when I went and saw Ready Player One with my wife, and it got to the scene about The Shining, and at that point she had never seen The Shining and really doesn't like scary movies. So I just kind of leaned over to her and I was just like, listen, I don't know what they're about to show here, but just prepare yourself. There could be some really creepy stuff. And then we saw the lady in the tub, and then obviously the twins in the hallway, and the blood coming out of the elevator and all that stuff. But The Shining, you know what I haven't watched yet, and I literally own it. I have the Blu-ray of it, and I've never watched it. Is the sequel to The Shining? What was it called? Doctor Sleep or something like that, with Ewan McGregor is in it. I haven't watched it yet. I have it. I've had it since it came out, and I've never watched it, so I don't even know if it's good. Terminator, yes, for horror. RoboCop, no. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Terminator, the original Terminator, it is borderline horror. I agree. They said Decker was a replicant. Listen, you know what? I finally watched the sequel to Blade Runner with I can't think of anything tonight. What the hell's his name? He's about to be in Star Wars. He was Ken in the Barbie movie. I just watched that sequel to Blade Runner. It was I enjoyed it. I think I like the original better, but it was an interesting way to see the that movie expand. RoboCop, I would argue, is a good example of fridge horror. I don't really know what you mean by that. There's a lot of gore, though, in RoboCop. It's brutal. RoboCop is very brutal. Cujo, holy crap, I completely forgot about that flick. I saw it probably a little too young. Yes, anyone who's seen Cujo probably watched that way too young. Cujo was pretty messed up. Definitely pretty messed up. It can't be a slasher, no sexy mid-20s casting. Yeah. See, that's part of the formula too with those slasher movies. There has to be those I mean, Scotty in the original Terminator, there is Sarah Connor's roommate, and she's there with her boyfriend, who by the way was named Matt. He was also in Top Gun. He's one of the co-pilots. They have their moment. She's got headphones on and everything and jamming while they're doing their thing, and then she goes to make a sandwich while he gets murdered in the bedroom. So yeah, I don't know. I think it made it. I think it made it. Event Horizon. Scary cosmic horror sci-fi. I haven't watched Event Horizon in years. That's another one I gotta rewatch. Sci-fi horror. It's such a cool genre of its own, because like there's horror. Like when you think of horror, you're thinking Jason and Freddy and all that stuff. A lot of people tend to lean into slasher things, or they lean into like psychological horrors, things like Silence of the Lambs and stuff like that. But sci-fi horror, man, the spins they could put on some stuff in that, it gets the movie The Cube. Anybody see The Cube? I remember when Saw came out, and the first thing I thought of was, man, this was inspired by a cube. So that's a sci-fi horror worth checking it out. Man, my chat keeps jumping. Sorry about that, guys. Give me a second just to catch up with everybody. Did you know James Cameron now regrets making the movies because of how far we've gotten with AI? I mean, every time we joke about AI, myself included, somebody says Skynet. We refer to it as Skynet because that's basically what it is. It's that's pretty much what we've got. Terminator 2 could have been brilliant, but marketers spoiled the entire premise of the movie. See, I don't remember like the trailers for T2. I just remember seeing the movie and being completely blown away. The first half hour of T2 could have been hugely suspenseful, and it is when people watch it without having seen any of the marketing materials. Yeah, you know what? Because I can see how they would have spoiled a lot of it because, the big spin was now Arnold's Terminator becomes a good guy. But if they spoiled that in the trailers, that's a huge misstep. But I don't remember. I mean, I just remember seeing stuff for T2 all over the place, but I couldn't tell you, like, I have no memory of the trailers, which is actually kind of weird. I don't remember it, but I remember seeing that movie for the first time. They Live. Rowdy Roddy Piper, everybody. They Live. This is another movie I'm trying to convince my son to just sit down and watch. He's so persistent on just not watching things, and then he finally does, and he ends up loving them. They Live is, I have the 4K Blu-ray of that now. Great transfer of that movie, by the way. They clean it up really, really nice. I love that movie. If you've never seen They Live, the WWF superstar Rowdy Roddy Piper is in it, and it's just, he's phenomenal in it, and you've all heard the iconic line from that and probably have used it yourself, even if you've never seen the movie. But if you've ever gone into a room and just like, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum, They Live. And that movie is so freaking good. So good. I like the 2011 Thing prequel, but it demonstrates the problems with doing prequels years later. Yes, I enjoyed it overall as well, but it's far weaker than John Carpenter's original film. But there's so many moments. I rewatched it not that long ago, and one of the things that really stood out to me was there were way too many moments in this movie that were literally copying the first movie, which makes no sense because we're supposed to be leading up to that original movie. And it was so forced in there. And I understand why the filmmakers did it, but it was like, just don't do that. Make it your thing, make it all connect, but don't rip off the other one. So it could have been amazing, but it wasn't quite there. Sweet Home, 1989, great horror movie and very good practical effects. Definitely has some disturbing images and ideas that stick with you. Plus, Capcom based their game on the movie, helping to create Resident Evil. Yes, Sweet Home, this 8-bit game originally on the Famicom. There are NES ports of it, but I'm trying to remember if any of them were ever official. I don't have a physical copy of Sweet Home, but I've played a ROM of it, and it is the inspiration for what Resident Evil was at the beginning. That or the original Resident Evil, if you play Sweet Home, yeah, all the inspiration is there. All of it. Yes, exactly, Black Dragon. The way Rogue One ran straight into Star Wars, that's what the prequel to The Thing does. And it's a great experience. If you watch them back to back, you lead right into it. I mean, it literally ends with the dog running through the snow and the helicopter chasing him, and then boom, pop in the original movie and you just pick up right where you left off. It's a great watch. It really is a great watch. You've never seen E.T.? Really? Wow. Check it out sometime, man. E.T. is one of my all-time favorites. Predator. Yes. A lot of people will put that into their action genre. I have Predator sitting in my horror section because it is a horror film. And the first one is a great horror film. The setup of where the first portion of the film, yeah, it's pretty much an action movie, that first part, but then that switch flips and now we're into the horror. It's one of those movies that growing up, I remember I would see the first half of the movie, and I remember, I have the memory of thinking it was a different movie. And all the stuff with the Predator, it just felt like a different movie started. But yes, Predator, hands down, a great horror movie. I would say that falls into sci-fi horror. But it's deemed, I mean, for the most part, a big action film. It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it and all the, Jesse Ventura in there and everything. So yeah, it's generally categorized as an action movie, but it's horror. Predator is brutal too. It's crazy. Yeah, we were talking about Eight-Legged Freaks before. I love that movie. It's so silly. It's so silly, but I really, really do love it. What's up, Darren? Good to see you, dude. I saw Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Good old Jason and Freddy. Yeah, it's those two. They're always going to be, I feel like, the two biggest horror icons like ever when it comes to the slasher films. And then, obviously you got Michael Myers in there with Halloween and Leatherface for Texas Chainsaw, but I think Jason and Freddy, I think they stand above the rest. Yes, them with the giant ants. That one, you just saw that last weekend? It's such a good one. I really, really like that. Demon Seed, 1977. It's about an AI house gone psycho. Really? I'm going to look that up. That sounds awesome. Okay. See, I'm going to be going through this replay to grab the movies you guys are mentioning. I want to definitely check that out. Oh, why does this chat keep jumping? Holy moly. Mrs. Maccave is here. I thought you were going to bed. I'll be up soon. I'm not going to be streaming too long tonight, but I'm glad you're here. I don't like scary movies, but I like watching suspense movies at 1.5 times the speed. This is what she's been doing, everybody. And I swear this is legit. She is doing this. She puts on something suspenseful, maybe not necessarily a horror movie, but maybe some sort of a murder mystery or something suspenseful or maybe a thriller. And she literally just speeds it up. And she's getting through them like way calmer. So I don't know. I couldn't watch a movie like that. That would kind of drive me crazy. But yeah, that would be nuts. From Hell and American Psycho are two of my favorite horror movies. Who was in From Hell? Which one was that? What was the one with Johnny Depp? Not the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I know he's in that one, but he did one. Is that From Hell? I have a Johnny Depp horror movie. I can't remember what it is. But American Psycho. What I just was watching something not that long ago that was talking about another movie and saying how it's connected because one of the characters is Christian Bale's character's cousin or brother or something, and then there's mention of the two in there. I forget what it was, but apparently there's another movie that's connected to American Psycho. Oh, here we go. Fridge horror is simply put when something becomes terrifying after the fact. Maybe you thought about this or that plot point a little too hard. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Okay. You kind of let it sit for a little bit and then it hits you. Okay. I gotcha. You can't watch Event Horizon again? Oh, is it that scary or I don't know. What you deal with it? Check out the 4K of Terminator 1. You will appreciate Sarah Connor's roommate even more. I have the 4K of T1. Wait, do I have the 4K? I think I have the 4K. I gotta rewatch T1. Titanic, 1977. I mean, we know how the Titanic ends, and that's pretty terrifying when you think about it. So, yeah, Raina, I'm gonna give you a pass on that one. For tonight. I think we're gonna lump Titanic into the horror genre. Shoots guard in the legs, he'll live. Yes, I love that. Oh man, T2. So many great moments in T2. Rowdy Piper in They Live is just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. My biggest problem with prequels are that the technology is years more advanced compared to the originals. And so, in the prequel to The Thing, which, by the way, they just called The Thing again, like, I hate that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. It was like, just put a subtitle in there, something. Don't just make it the same freaking title. And oh my god, the cases are almost identical. So I gotta look, which, like, I want to watch the original, but I'll pull the prequel off the shelf. I hate that, but they did a really good job in that one, keeping things like consistent for what it needed to be. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of prequels that things just look. It just, the feel isn't right. It just doesn't quite. Doesn't quite get there. You want me to watch E.T.? Do you think that I'm gonna take your advice after Rubber? Rubber horror movie. Rubber. I owe a lot of people apologies, everybody. If you're new here, I convinced quite a few people to watch the movie Rubber. And people weren't happy with me about that one. But in case you don't know what Rubber is, it is a horror movie about a tire, like a car tire, that is sentient and has telekinetic abilities, and it murders people. So that's Rubber. So if that sounds like something that might interest you, go check it out. And then come back and let me know how mad you are at me. There should be a professional wrestling game featuring a triple threat match between Freddy Krueger, Jason, and Michael Myers. I mean, technically, you could do that in the WWE 2K games because people create those characters. Like in 2K25, I could go in and download somebody's version of Jason and all that stuff. You know, obviously, it's going to look a little funky, but you could sort of do that. But if they would have made like a real game like that, that would be fun. Yes, I agree. Prey was a very decent prequel. I think Prey was better than anybody expected it to be. And I remember that came out exclusively on Hulu originally, right? And then finally there was a big push by the fandom to have them put out a physical copy, and they did. And I picked up that Blu-ray. The really cool thing with the Blu-ray copy is you can I forget their background, their tribe, but the language that their tribe would have actually been speaking, there's an audio track of that language. You can watch the movie in that language with subtitles on. And I watched it that way, and it was awesome. It was very, very cool checking that out. But Prey is definitely a cool movie. Predator switches midway through to horror. Wish more movies like that were made. Now, yeah, when they flip that switch, I love those moments. It's so cool when that happens. What is up, Chad? It keeps jumping. I love how Carl Weathers did a bit after Arnold and Jesse became governors about how he was in Predator as well, and he wanted to govern a state. Any state would do, he said. That's great. Man, I miss him, man. Carl Weathers gone way too soon. Way too soon. He was awesome in Predator. He was absolutely awesome. Motel Hell from 1980. I don't know that one. So there's another one. That's another one I got to go back. I'm going to be going through this replay and writing down these horror movies and looking them up and seeing where I can watch them. The great thing about horror movies is that they're generally pretty easy to find in all kinds of places, especially if you have like Prime Video and stuff like that. You can find these things like just lurking around in categories that people don't even venture into, all kinds of stuff like that. You can find lots of horror movies. It is Johnny Depp in From Hell. Okay, it is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. What was the one with John Cusack? Not the number 23. That was Jim Carrey. Number 23 was kind of creepy. That was more of a psychological horror. John Cusack and was it Samuel L. Jackson? I can't remember. There's something with John Cusack. Um, yes. Okay. Okay, cool. So we are thinking of the right thing. Secret Window is another one. Yes. You know what? Oh, do I have both? I definitely have Secret Window with Johnny Depp. That was a creepy movie. Um you know what's a good one? With Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. Um what the heck is that called? I got to look at the shelf. Uh Hold on. Where is it? What Lies Beneath. What Lies Beneath with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. Don't look up a trailer. Just watch it. That's a good one. That is a good one. Christine with the cut. Yep. Christine is a classic. I love Duel. Duel I love. What's is it Duel with all the trucks with the faces on it? No, it's not. Okay, it's two different things. What's the one with? Because I have Duel. But what's the one with the all the trucks that are driving up on the town, and one of them's got like the face of the Green Goblin on it. I can't remember the name of that movie. Depp is also in one of my all-time favorite movies, The Ninth Gate. That movie has a perfect combination of campiness, suspense, horror vibes, and so much more. It's always entertaining to watch. I only saw The Ninth Gate once when it first came out. That's one I gotta definitely rewatch. Speaking of Gate, the movie The Gate, where a kid accidentally opens up a gateway to hell in his backyard. That movie was so creepy. It had some like stop motion like claymation creatures in it and everything, and they were really really creepy. I remember there was a scene in the movie where the kid, all of a sudden he's like, his hand's hurting and he turns it over and there's an eyeball looking at him from the palm of his hand. So creepy. So creepy. Uh, that's what Comanche. I don't know how to say it, but yes, watching it like that, it's a totally different feel. When you watch it that way, especially when you get to the point when they find like those the old those like the soldiers and stuff that are speaking English, and then now they're speaking English instead of mumbling and everything. It was definitely a cool way of watching that movie. Say anything. Yeah. I don't think Say Anything would fall into the horror category, but I don't know. Do we need to go on a John Cusack run soon? Do we need to rewatch Hot Tub Time Machine soon? I talked about that movie today at work. There's all kinds of silly movies that my wife and I like. Oh, well, she called it. Yep. We're going to have to rewatch that really soon. That's one of our favorites. The Wraith in 1986. There we go. We got another good one here. The Others with I was about to say Kim Basinger. With man, I can't think of anybody's names tonight. Moulin Rouge. What the heck is her name? But what a twist in that movie. I'll just leave it at that. If you've never seen The Others and you like spooky movies, Nicole Kidman, thank you. If you like spooky movies, The Others, fantastic movie. And yes, Scotty, we were talking about Cube earlier. Cube is one of my all-time favorite movies. So underrated. There are multiple sequels to this movie. They're not necessary. I mean, definitely check them out if you want to. But like the second one was called like Hypercube or something. The first one is all you really need. The first one is absolutely great. Wolf from 1994. The Howling. I love The Howling. The Car in 1977. Maximum Overdrive. That's the one with all the trucks with the faces on them, right? That movie. And Emilio Estevez. Yes, yes, yes. That one, I got to get a copy of that movie. I don't own a copy of it. But that one is, that's one of my favorites. This is not Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yeah, man, I'm very, very tired, dude. I had a crazy work week and, yeah, stuff went different. So my sleep schedule is all off and I'll be wrapping up here pretty soon, but I just wanted to hang out with everybody tonight. We'll be back to gaming very soon, dude. Very soon. Poltergeist. Iconic. Steven Spielberg, 1982. There's a remake of this. Just watch the original. It's the remake to Poltergeist. Literally, it ends and you go, I should have just watched the original. Like it wasn't terrible, the remake, but it's pointless. I guess I should say. Love Poltergeist. Poltergeist 2 scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. That one got me. That old creepy man in it. That's the one that got me. Poltergeist 2 is where the real fear was for me. Yes, we need to go on a John Cusack run. I was just naming all the John Cusack movies I knew. I want my $2. Howling, another nope for you? Is this what is the reasoning? I need to know the reasoning. Is this because you didn't like the movies or because they scared the shit out of you? Like what happened with those? We need the story, Scotty. Maximum Overdrive. My brother worked on a studio backlot in Wilmington, North Carolina in the early 90s, and the Green Goblin truck was in the back, just forgotten in the back lot. He got some pics with it. That is awesome. Oh my God, that's incredible. Not really a horror. What's up, 4 on 6? Not really a horror movie, but Jacob's Ladder is the scariest movie I think I've ever seen. Okay. Fair enough. Jacob's Ladder is part of the inspiration for Silent Hill. Is it really? I don't think I ever put that together. Interesting. I saw The Howling when I was way too young. Yeah, that'll do it. There's some movies like that when you see them way too young, they'll literally like scar you for life. They hit differently when you see them too young. It sticks with you. It definitely sticks with you. Yes, the preacher guy in Poltergeist 2, he was so freaky. He just got walking, he's like, Caroline, and he had that high-pitched, soft voice. It just, oh my God, I could see him in my mind's eye. Oh my God. That movie, that sequel was terrifying. And then the third one, the third Poltergeist, where it was in a building, like it took place in like a high rise building, but there would be all like the ghosts and everything, and the things trying to get everybody were like in reflections, like they would come out of the glass or a mirror, or if there was like a puddle on the ground and there was a reflection, that's how they were getting people. Like they were walking through, I think it was like the parking lot area, and there was a puddle on the ground, and when she stepped in it, these hands came out of the puddle and started pulling her down. It was, oh my God, that movie was so messed up. Man, Poltergeist is crazy. You grew up on horror movies, they're boring to you? I mean, look, these are one of those, it's one of those genres that you can become incredibly desensitized to, and then it just doesn't hit the same way. Like, I would say that I am desensitized for the most part to horror, because there's a lot of, I go into a horror movie now and there's things I just kind of expect, and I'm looking for, I guess. But still, every once in a while, there's some that will get me, and it's like, wow, you really surprised me. You got me with that one. Or when a filmmaker gets clever with a jump scare, and the moment comes and goes where normally the jump scare would have happened, and you're like, oh, you didn't do it. And then as soon as you're thinking about, oh, you didn't do it, then they do it, and they can get you. So some filmmakers can have a lot of fun with that. Mimic was a fun movie. I think there was a couple crappy sequels to that also. Mimic was definitely fun. That was good. The original Evil Dead. The original Evil Dead is like a fever dream. Like so much to the point was like when you watch Evil Dead 2, and I wonder if maybe it was Sam Raimi himself that like even said this. I heard this somewhere, and it might have been from Sam Raimi, that Evil Dead 2 is basically a remake of Evil Dead. But man, that first movie, especially when they got the one girl who's already transforming and they got her trapped in the hatch, the basement hatch. Oh my god, that movie's really messed up. That is one of the most messed up movies ever. But it's so, the editing and the jump cuts and the way the camera moves, man, that movie's like a fever dream, dude. Evil Dead it's like a ride. The scariest thing that has stuck with me from when I was a kid was the salt vampire from OG Star Trek, the Man Trap episode. I couldn't sleep for weeks after seeing that episode when I was 6. I'm trying to remember it. I mean, I had to have seen it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But isn't that interesting how like some stuff from things that aren't even part of a horror or thriller or anything can end up having something so terrifying in it? You know what's one that sticks with me? One that sticks with me that is, it's not a horror movie at all, but still to this day, I feel and remember the level of fear I had as a kid. The wolf in the Neverending Story. But well, I forget his name. The not the Morlock. The I think it was something with an M. That wolf in the cave. Holy crap! That was when I was a kid. The Neverending Story. I love that movie, and I still do. But every time it got to those scenes, and then especially when he's finally having like the final like that moment with Atreyu and everything, and then he charges out of the cave, like oh my god, I mean, the hairs are standing up on my arm just thinking about it. That fear that implanted in me as a kid has stuck with me. Gamork, that's what it was. Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. That is one of those moments that I saw it very, very young, and it stuck with me for my entire life. Like to the point where even just thinking about it, I'm like, holy crap, I can remember how scary that was. And anytime I've ever rewatched that movie and it gets to those moments, I'm like brought right back to that little kid and just being like, I remember the fear. Like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like you're still afraid of it at the same level, but you remember exactly how you felt when you were at that peak fear of something, and when those things stick with you. But that was one of them for me that was just not in a horror movie, and it got me. It definitely got me. There's a difference between suspense, jump scares, and horror. Absolutely. There's some movies that go all jump scares, and that's, those can be fun. But that's a different type of, that's just the kind of like the jolt, right? That's all that. Suspense is the build up, the nervousness, your nerves, your hair standing up, edge of your seat, not knowing what's going to happen next, what's around that corner. It's the build up, which I think is the best type of scare. And then horror is like, well, things that are horrific. That can be the gore. That can be the death scenes. That can be all kinds of stuff. Just the horrific things, the brutal things that can happen. But yes, huge difference between all of them. And then when you have some movies that kind of have a mix of it all, it can create something pretty cool. The Faculty. I was just talking about this movie the other day. I think I was actually talking to my wife about this one. I asked if she remembered it, and I don't think she saw it. That was the one in the school, and the kids are realizing all of their teachers, well, all the school faculty are like aliens or something, and they're like trying to kill them all. Oh my God, The Faculty. I remember that. That was such a fun movie. I gotta rewatch that one. That was cool. Star Trek, especially from the original series and movies, had some crazy horror moments here and there. I mean, some stuff, especially in the 70s and 80s, there were things that get pretty dark in all kinds of shows and stuff. Oh my God, I remember there was... This is going to sound so silly. You guys are going to be like, where the hell are you going with this, Matt Cave? Do you remember back with the days of TGIF? And the show Step by Step. It was in that lineup where you'd watch like Full House and Family Matters, and Step by Step was one of those shows. There was an episode about one of the kids having a nightmare, and it was having a lot of nightmares. And one of the nightmares was their family turned into zombies. And there was something about the zombie makeup that they had on the actors that actually was like legit scary. And it's one of those things, I've never gone back to rewatch it. And it's one of those ones that I've kind of purposely not gone to even look for it, because I'm quite positive my memory of it is scarier than what it actually was. But I guess at the time I was young enough where it just kind of hit me, and I was just like, oh, that was, was not expecting that in like this family show, that was on every Friday night and everything. So it was something. But yeah, that was one of those weird ones that stuck with me. I believe Sam Raimi and his company lost the rights to the first Evil Dead. When filming the second, they basically redid the first movie and then switched it up halfway through into an actual Evil Dead 2. Is that what happened? Because that's like that first portion of Evil Dead 2. It's almost like it almost acts like a recap of the first one, but it's like things are different. So it was very weird. The beginning of Evil Dead 2 is kind of wacky. Mrs. Mackey is still awake. I thought you were asleep. How about a funny horror, Shaun of the Dead or Zombieland? Did you ever watch Shaun of the Dead with me? I don't think you did. You definitely watched Zombieland with me. I remember you said you liked it. That's the closest you get to horror, funny, or The Craft is a good one. I like The Craft. Zombieland is so much fun. I love that movie. Shaun of the Dead is just iconic, but I don't think you actually watched that with me. And if you have not, we need to watch that because we have that movie. And it's great. I like the suspense horror as opposed to ridiculous slasher. That just wants to be gruesome, to gross you out with extreme gore. Yeah, there's stuff that just goes for the shock value of the gore and everything. It just gets like over the top. Like the Saw movies, I wouldn't say like, I guess the first one is the one standout of it. The rest of them I felt like went way more into the shock value gore. I watched a bunch of the Saw movies. I haven't seen all of them, but I watched 6 or 7 of them. But I know there's like at least 10. But I got hooked on the story, and I wanted to know. But the gore got like insane. Yeah, there was lots of suspense in Saw, but then when it gets to the gruesome parts, it's like really, really gruesome. But the story had me hooked in especially the first like 3 or 4 of those. A lot of it was so well, I think it's all connected, but I don't know. I needed to know, so I kept watching them. Do you remember The Cell with Jennifer Lopez? I remember that movie. Oh my God, that was That was a pretty big movie too when that came out, especially her jumping into the horror genre. You guys remember that Jennifer Aniston was in The Leprechaun? I think it was her first movie. The Leprechaun, man. I mean, there's some pretty scary stuff in Ghostbusters, if you think about it. I mean, think about just the librarian ghost when she jumps at them. That's pretty terrifying. Ghostbusters, I would almost categorize that as a comedy horror. I mean, it's ghosts, ghosts and monsters. Shaun of the Dead is a top five zombie movie, easy. Yes, it is. Shaun of the Dead is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You definitely saw it. I can't imagine I would have watched it with anyone other than you. I really don't think you saw Shaun of the Dead. I mean, wait, look, we can rewatch it. I love that movie. Saw 1 and Hellraiser. Oh, speaking of movies that get really, really brutal, Hellraiser. Um, Holy crap. The the scene from the original Hellraiser that still sticks with me, and this was again one of those movies I saw way too young. Who was that made that? Was that Clive Barker? Is that who made that? Um, the one character, what the hell was his name? Was it was like Frank or something? Um, he's like midway regenerating, but he's only like half a body, he's like half a torso, and he's got no skin, and he's up in the attic, and there's this one shot where somebody goes up there, and he's crawling across the floor towards the camera. And that shot is him just coming at you, all jammed up. I remember seeing that as a kid and nearly crap my pants. That was, man, that's one of those moments that definitely stuck with me with Hellraiser. You'll be watching Saw for the first time next Friday. Okay, Spidey, let me ask you this. Do you know, like, I forget like gore aside, yes, you're going to see some brutality. Was any of the story spoiled for you? I hope it wasn't. I truly hope it was not. If you somehow got by and not have that spoiled for you, then you are really, really, really going to enjoy the story of these. And in all honesty, I would say at least watch the first three. Um, it's connected. There's a decent story there. Jennifer Aniston and Kevin Bacon, both OG Leprechaun. Was he in Leprechaun also? I know his first major film was Friday the 13th. He gets a brutal death scene in the original Friday the 13th. Kevin Bacon. You had nightmares for months, with Gremlins. Gremlins is technically a horror movie. It's also technically a Christmas movie, and then it's technically a family movie. So Gremlins is all over the place, but Gremlins, yes, is a horror movie. It definitely is. These little monsters, man, they're crazy. But you have to give Gremlins another chance. I will rewatch it with you. It's so good. It's so good. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yes. I keep telling my son, let's watch Die Hard. And he goes, no, not until Christmas. He hasn't seen it yet. And he's purposely waiting for Christmas time because he knows the whole thing of everybody going, that's a Christmas movie. So he won't let me put the movie on until we reach Christmas time. So we're closer and closer to it. We're almost there. Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland are both so much fun. I love the opening to Zombieland, especially For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. Oh, when he's listing all the rules and everything of how to survive the zombie apocalypse. It's so good, Zombieland. It's so, so good. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I will die on that hill. It is the first Christmas movie we watch every year. She's not lying. That's one of our go-tos. And then we'll veer off into like Christmas Vacation or now we love 8-Bit Christmas with Neil Patrick Harris. That's become one of our routine yearly movies. It's definitely good. I don't. Oh, going back to Saw, I don't think so. I'm not really familiar with the series. I avoided it for years, thinking of it as torture. Yeah, it's brutal. I would say the first one is the most tame out of all of them. They only get more brutal as you go through the Saw movies. But it's the reason I went as far as I did in those films. I watched at least six or possibly seven of them. And the story is what kept me going. So, and I think that's a side of it that you would find appreciation in also, but you got to get through the brutality, which is unfortunate. The way I see it, if I was able to watch Cannibal Holocaust earlier this year, I should be able to handle Saw. Yeah, you'll handle Saw just fine. That other movie, I still can't believe you watched that, dude. I'm sorry that you watched that. Oh my god, I just when I saw that is what like won that poll that you had going on. I messaged you, letting you know, hey, I hope you're prepared for like it's just you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. It's definitely crazy. Did you know that the lead guitarist Ace Feely passed away? Ace Feely. I know the name. What band are we talking about? I know I'm gonna be kicking myself, and maybe it's just me being so freaking tired right now that I can't think. But I can't think. From Kiss. Oh my god. Jesus, I'm like, holy crap! Why can't I think tonight? I had no idea. Oh my god, that happened today. Jeez, this year, man, 2025 is just taking out the celebrities we all grew up with. This is nuts. Oh, you're talking about the Saw movies after the first three? That's what I was saying. Like, if Spidey gets into the story, do the first three. I feel like that's enough to be like, okay, I get like you know, I'm pretty fulfilled with the story. After that, it gets so because I know connections continue, but it feels very, very, very forced. Where it's like we gotta make it connect, so just right in this, like it gets a little weird, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. I still give my coworker shit for making us watch it. She sent an all caps apology to us once she finally watched it. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the movie he's talking about, everybody, is that Cannibal Holocaust movie. Don't watch it. Don't let curiosity get the better of you if you've never seen it. Just leave it at that. Just leave it at that. Don't watch it. It's not worth it because you can't unsee it. You cannot unsee it. And it will stick with you forever. 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 Yes, don't watch it. I could say that with authority. Yes, he can. I'm not going to say what the scene was, but there was one particular scene that I knew, just knowing Spidey, that was like I almost like wanted to cry knowing that you were going to see it, and it just okay, no more of that movie. That movie just no. Big can of Nope. Speaking of Nope, I haven't watched that yet. Is that worth watching? Nope. I've heard mixed things, but nothing has spoiled that movie for me. So I don't know I don't know what happens in it, but I know that was a pretty big release just a couple of years ago. So have any of you seen Nope? I have not, and it's on my list of checking out some stuff that I've missed out on. I think it's on HBO Max or something. It's on something that I have access to. So it's on my list of like to watch. Nope. Is that are these recommendations to watch Nope or don't watch Nope? I don't know. You liked it? Okay, you like Nope? Okay. Don't spoil it for me. I don't know what it really is. So I gotta check that out. I heard Smile was freaky. I didn't watch Smile or Smile 2. I gotta check those out. I didn't watch the other recent one that got another sequel was Megan. I never watched that. My son wants to watch that, so I don't know. I wasn't really all that interested when I first saw the trailers for it. But if it's any, I don't know. Did anybody see Megan? Is it any good? Is it worth watching? Oh, Spidey! I'm actually watching 10 Cloverfield Lane tomorrow. Yes. Well, okay. I would categorize 10 Cloverfield Lane as a suspense, film. John Goodman's performance in that movie is top notch. It's so good. And yes, the name having Cloverfield in it, yes, this is connected to Cloverfield, the found footage running from monsters attacking the city movie that came out prior to it. But this is a very different film. So I would call this a suspense film, a suspense, not psychological thriller, but thriller in a way. It's you're gonna like it. I'll put it that way. You are going to like it. I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised by that movie, and I think it's going to, I think it's going to surprise you in a very good way. So yeah, I'm excited that actually you're gonna watch that. That's an underrated movie. Um, well, that's another reason why I don't. Yeah, I don't like the doll stuff. It freaks me out. But I don't know what was like. Is Megan like AI or something? Like, what was the? It's not Chucky. Like, what is? I don't know what the deal is with Megan. It seems like a ripoff of Child's Play. That's what I kind of figured it was. But now I've seen trailers for. Maybe it's the sequel I'm seeing trailers for. It seems different somehow. I don't know. Is she a robot? I don't know what. I don't know what to think of it. You saw the sequel to Airplane? Airplane is so funny. We were just at work. We were just talking about the original Airplane. That's pretty funny. It's with AI instead of voodoo. Oh my God, that's like the remake of Child's Play. Did you guys see the remake of Child's Play where Mark Hamill voiced Chucky? Um, I will say this. The movie is not terrible. The ending is terrible. The whole movie's like bearable and it's actually all right. And then the ending happens and it's just like you blew it. You made it way too ridiculous and then it just ruined it for me. But the remake of Child's Play, not terrible. Not terrible. Cloverfield is your favorite kaiju film, and you're excited to see 10. Yeah, it's 10 Cloverfield Lane is. I'm just gonna say you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. It's not. It's not what anybody expected with the Cloverfield name in it. So, oh, you saw Barbarian? Barbarian was Holy crap! Who was in that? That was Barbarian Jason Momoa? Who is in Barbarian? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I mean, is it worse than Green Hell? Oh my God, that was beyond effed up. I actually didn't finish the whole movie. Green Hell is another really, really messed up movie. But the other one we were talking about is very, very, very brutal. You're gonna get freaked out by every doll in the house if you watch that. I'm already freaked out by every freaking doll in the house. My God, with all the freaking doll heads that she's got all over it, it's just too much. It's too much. There was one night years ago when my son was very, very, very little. He was like 1 or 2 years old, and he had this very popular toy that like tons of kids had at the time. It was this puppy thing. It was about this big, and it was a puppy. It had blue ears, and it was electronic. It would talk and interact. It was like one of those like learning toys and stuff. You'd squeeze the paw, and it would say something, and it would do a song or whatever. And and he would play with it and stuff, and then eventually just kind of just stopped. He just never played with it. And this thing just kind of sat off to the corner, off to the side in our den, and hadn't thought about this thing. He hadn't touched it in forever. This thing just sat there and just did nothing. And then one night, I'm sitting there in the den alone. It's real late at night. I'm just up. I couldn't sleep, and I'm just up late watching a movie and watching TV. So just sitting there on the couch, and everyone's also asleep. Everything's all shut down. It's the middle of the night, and out of nowhere, this puppy thing, who is now, it's facing me from off to the side of the room, and just goes, "Peekaboo, I see you." And I turned to it, and I looked it dead in the eyes, and I'm like, "I'm going to kill you with fire." And it never made a noise again. But this thing didn't do anything for ages. And then out of nowhere, just one night, it just decides to say, "Peekaboo, I see you." Yeah, nope. Kill it with fire. Kill it with fire. I just yeah. Nope, I'm out. Yeah. I'm part of the Chucky generation, okay? I don't trust these dolls. I had a customer once in my old days when I worked in custom home theaters, went to a customer's house, and they had an entire room full of porcelain dolls, and I don't think they were all porcelain, but that style. Wall to wall. Every shelf. I don't know what the lore is to these things, like why people collect them or like them. The looks on their faces are freaking creepy. Like, I've never seen a single one like that. That's like, that's nice looking. No, it's terrifying. It's looking into your soul and it's trying to capture it. I don't know what the hell people think they're doing with that stuff, but I don't know. It's just one of those silly fears, whatever, that I have. It's always been there with me. Shit, when I played Resident Evil 8 and I got to that one section where you go through the one house with all the dolls in it. Holy crap. I mean, I had to get through it. It's a Resident Evil game. I had to beat it. But that was awful. That was a terrible experience for me. I hate replaying that section. And it's fairly early in the game, too. So you get to it like almost right away. Oh, God. Such a mess. Such a mess. I'm sure you talked about Resident Evil already. Actually, we haven't really touched on Resident Evil at all. But RE2 is your favorite game, right? What's your favorite movie in the franchise? Okay. All right. So... now I know what you get for Christmas. Oh my god. No. So Resident Evil 2, yes, is my favorite game of all time. Not only the favorite in the franchise, but my favorite game of all time. The Resident Evil movies. Now, the bulk of it actually obviously is the Milla Jovovich movies, right? And God, those movies. The first three of those movies are pretty solid, in my opinion. Like, I knew they were... Well, okay. I went to the theaters and saw the first one. I didn't know what to expect from it. I knew from the trailers there was a new character, Alice. I didn't know what they were going to do with her. But I couldn't tell from the trailers that they were going to do a completely different thing off the path of the story altogether. Once I realized that after seeing that first film... I was like, all right, well, I guess they're just doing their own thing. I enjoyed the first one, but I think my favorite one is the second film, where they bring Nemesis into it. And the reason I like that one a lot is because it's the closest the film franchise for Resident Evil has been to the games ever. And the reason is because they literally took a whole bunch of stuff and references from a bunch of the games, from Resident Evil 2, from 3, from Code Veronica, and just put them in there as stuff for the fans and everything. It was cool to see it. Nemesis looked like they plucked them right out of the game and popped them into the movie. There's a whole running sequence where Alice is running through that building and through the glass windows, and the helicopter shooting at her. That's right out of the intro of Code Veronica. There was all kinds of references to the games. Jill Valentine's there in her outfit from Resident Evil 3. It just looked and had at least a little bit of the feel of the games, and then the rest of the films did what they did, and it's all over the place, and it's just a giant mess. But I would say the second one, I think it was called Apocalypse, Resident Evil Apocalypse, that would be my favorite one in that run. Now the CG animated movies, those are connected to the games. Those are actually part of the games, the game franchise. So I really enjoy those a lot. I like the one with Claire and she's at the airport and everything. I really like that one. I think that was Degeneration. And there was a recent one that just came out that was on oh my god, Prison Island. Oh man, I can't think anymore, everybody. Alcatraz. It's on Alcatraz. Holy crap, I can't think. That was pretty cool, seeing a bit of a team up in there. Yeah, Death Island. Death Island was fun. I think I like Degeneration the best out of those ones. But Death Island was pretty fun. I only watched it once so far. I gotta rewatch it. RE Apocalypse is my favorite of the live action as well. Definitely the closest to the games they've ever come, although the first is still pretty good. The first is pretty good. Once you're kind of settled in with knowing, okay, they're doing their own thing, they did a pretty cool thing with it. It was pretty cool. But as those movies went, like I think those first three movies are pretty decent up until about halfway to 3/4 of the way through the third film. And then that's where I feel like it just goes downhill after that. And then every sequel after that just got worse and worse and worse. They're fun eye candy. There's lots of action, lots of craziness going on, so it is entertaining. But don't go into it looking for anything that's going to be fun with the story, because they ain't going to make no sense. No sense. So, I don't know. But, man. And then Welcome to Raccoon City came out, and I was so excited for that movie because I kept following all the behind-the-scenes stuff going on with it. And the one thing about that movie, and if anybody hasn't seen it, I captured my second viewing of Welcome to Raccoon City, and I have a whole reaction video on the channel of me watching Welcome to Raccoon City for the second time, giving that movie a second chance. So if you want to see my real, true feelings about that film, go check out that video. Whew, it's something. But that movie, what I will give that movie is that it looked like Resident Evil. They had the look down. I should say it looked like the remakes of like RE2 and RE3. They had the look down. It was there. Solid. Sets were great. Designs were great. It had the look. Everything else they messed up on. Like big time. Big time. Now we have a new Resident Evil movie coming out. And I don't know. I'm trying to just avoid as much as I can about anything being talked about with it from the filmmakers. I don't want them to give away too much. I've already heard enough where I'm like, okay, I know they're going to be putting a spin on this. I know they're going to be again doing their own thing. I don't want to know much further than that. I just want it to come out in theaters. I'm going to go sit down in the theater, get my popcorn, and just let the movie happen and go from there. And when that movie comes out, I will be doing a full breakdown and a review of that film. I'm really looking forward to that, whether I like the film or not. Either way, I'm really, really looking forward to that. I liked Welcome to Raccoon City on the first viewing Then, after watching it two more times over the last few years, definitely don't like it as much, beyond some visuals. Still, it's better than the Netflix series. Okay, so that Netflix series, my wife actually watched it with me. I don't know if she's still in the chat or watching, but she did watch the Resident Evil Netflix series with me. Um, that series is, I think it's a lot better than it was given credit for. But one of the things that really kind of messed with it was the casting of Wesker. And that really threw things off for a lot of it. Like, even before it came out, the actor they got is a phenomenal actor. And in all honesty, I loved his performance in the show. But that wasn't Albert Wesker. So it just, and then what made it again feel even more not right was the show technically was connecting back to the games. Because this took place, the Netflix series takes place story-wise after everything, after all of the games we've had. And they talk about the events that happened and how they got to where they're at. And I'm like, that's great. Like, the whole beginning had this whole, like, kind of recap of things, and they're referencing things. I'm like, this is fantastic. I'm like, this is actually connected. This can work. But then it just, man, it had so much potential. I wish it continued into a season 2. I think it had a lot more potential there, but we'll never see that again. That was rough. The first Silent Hill movie, I like that one. That's a pretty good movie. I didn't see the sequel. I heard it's worth watching. I haven't watched it yet. Maybe I should watch that this year and check that out. But I like the first Silent Hill movie. I actually rewatched that not too long ago. That's a pretty crazy movie too. I have to say it was also its own thing, but the Resident Evil show on Netflix was good. See, that's the I like the oops, do we not like the show? You know what it is? The Netflix show, it definitely was its own thing, but it had connections. I mean, there's even a scene where she plays Moonlight Sonata on a piano to unlock a door, everybody. I mean, come on now. Like, they knew the games, the filmmakers or the people doing the show. It was just the casting choice. I don't know. It's one of those things. You know what it was? It was, I wouldn't say this is as extreme, but I would say this falls into the same realm as Star Wars The Acolyte, where before the thing even came out, all the behind the scenes stuff basically put a bad taste in everybody's mouth, and then, like, it was pretty much destined to fail. And that sucks. I remember back when I was growing up, I got maybe a trailer for something, and then you'd go see it in the movie theater. And the only time I would ever see anything from behind the scenes was like that once in a while rare interview with maybe the director or an actor during like a show like Entertainment Tonight or something like that. And it would just be this very short, brief thing. And it was very special. It was a special moment to get that. And then that was it. And then you let the movie or the show speak for itself. And you go watch it, and then you decide, do I like it? Do I not? There were critics to watch. There was Siskel and Ebert and all that stuff and everything to get their views from the critics and everything. But it was a very different time. But now everything is right up in front, in your face, and a lot of times it just ruins things dramatically. So, look, I still, at the end of the day, I did not like The Acolyte overall. It ended up not landing for me. But did it have a lot of potential? Yeah, it did. It actually did. And I wish it continued for at least the second season just to close things out. That's all, just for the sake of that. But the lead up killed it. and this not and again, like I said, not as extreme as that as the Acolyte, but the lead up to the Resident Evil Netflix series was very similar. So it just, I don't think it had a shot at all, even just coming out of the gate. It was unfortunately destined to fail. Let me catch up here. I'm really looking forward to the new Silent Hill movie launching in January. A new movie? Return to Silent Hill? Oh, how did I not know this? This coming January, we're getting a Silent Hill movie? Holy crap. I mean, I'm not going to research it tonight, but I'm going to look it up in the morning. Okay. Now I need to look that. I got a whole bunch of stuff to look up, guys. I got a whole bunch of stuff to look up. I still say you will never beat Cobra Kai for a continuation of a franchise. 100% agree. Cobra Kai is the template that anyone looking to continue a past franchise needs to go by. Cobra Kai was fantastic. Sure, it had some weaker moments along the way, but overall, freaking solid. I loved Cobra Kai, and that is exactly how you continue a franchise, by respecting the source material while also creating your new story and making your new thing. I also really liked Karate Kid Legends. It was fun. I liked Karate Kid Legends a lot. I wouldn't say it was up to the same level of how much I enjoyed like the original Karate Kid movies, but it was nice to see that, a continuation in that form, especially bringing Jackie Chan into it and everything. That was cool. But it's its own story. Karate Kid Legends is its own thing. It's very standalone. You don't necessarily have to have had watched the original Karate Kid or even watched Cobra Kai at all to like Karate Kid Legends. So that one's definitely cool. There's a new It show coming to HBO. The first episode is next Sunday. Yeah, it's that's a prequel. What is that? Welcome to Derry. It's that's going to be a prequel series. Is Bill Skarsgård in that? Is he reprising Pennywise in that show? I don't even know if we're even going to get to see Pennywise. I don't know how that's all working. He is reprising? Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. That's going to be cool. The It films. I like the new ones. It and It 2 were really well done. I'll always love the made for TV movie, the one with Tim Curry as Pennywise. That was another one that as a kid that definitely scared me. That was intense. Return to Silent Hill is based on Silent Hill 2. No way. How did I miss this? That's crazy. I gotta check that out. The producers of Cobra Kai got the actual actors from the trilogy, including the little girl from the bell during the hurricane scene in the second movie. Yes. And she like saves the day. Saves his business. Oh my God. That throwback to it. God, Cobra Kai was so good. I gotta rewatch it. It was so good. Not a horror movie. Not a horror movie at all, but still. You gotta give credit where credit is due. Guys, I'm gonna wrap things up. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did this. I love just kind of hanging out with you guys and chatting about stuff, but we'll definitely cover more spooky stuff as the rest of this month goes on. And I didn't get as many things in this month as so far that I wanted to. That life kind of just went a little wacky, but I'm gonna kind of get back into the swing of things. Today was the last day of the change in my schedule, so we're gonna get back to normal as we go into next week and go through this weekend. So we'll be back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got some more Resident Evil stuff to do, and we'll have some more. I want to do some more just kind of hanging out and chats, with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy stuff like this. If you don't, obviously let me know. I'm always feedback is always welcome, guys. Please, by all means, if there's ever things like you want to see something change or do something different, always let me know. I always take everything into consideration and see, what we can do to work with it. But in all honesty, I like just hanging out with everybody and just BSing for a little while, just hang out, have a fun conversation. And I thought it would be a fun topic tonight to talk about our favorite scary movies, favorite scary games, and our experiences with it. So I'm glad you guys were around for it tonight. And yeah, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. But I will be back very, very soon. I don't know if I'm going to stream. I might stream tomorrow, depending on how much energy I got. I got to get my sleep schedule back on into the swing of things. I'm exhausted. This week kicked my butt. But all right, guys, everybody have a great night. And as always, until next time, remember, keep retro gaming alive because one day your games will be retro too. Whew, I'm going to go get some sleep and we're going to leave it to the outro. Have a good night, everybody.